it, so hoping today is like the last real day of work. But we're gonna do final adjustments on the suspension, install these awesome new lateral links and trailing arms that we got yesterday, align the car, and hopefully that's it. And then we just got interior stuff to do, but that's all can take later. But let's see if we can take a look at what's going on today. I got these legacy wheels we picked up, just so I can get off cruise wheels. And our fancy links you saw on the Instagram, they're going on too. So that's today's plan.
All right, so we have our trailing arm in and the 2 lat links on this side. We did not get to the other side yet. Justin's doing social media work, and then the car, that side's still stopped. But out of all this, the toughest part were the trailing arm bolts going in there and the ones in here. We literally had to back under here, take these brackets out right here and drop the whole thing because they were really hard to get to with just a wrench, and we wanted to get our 6-point impact sockets on there. And eventually we were able to break them off with it off the car. We had to take the brake caliper off, the rotor off to get to the inside one. You can see it, inside one. And yeah, that's it for now. Now we get to the other side. Justin?
What?
Other side.
Yeah, we're just gonna do the other side and then do the alignment.
Yeah, so that only took us, what, maybe like an hour or hour and a half just because of the stubborn bolts. But everything else came out easy.
Yeah, but now we know what we gotta do, so we won't spend 20 minutes fighting with it.
Yeah, we'll just do it the same way and not try to take off the trailing arm bolts on the car. We'll drop the whole bracket and go from there.
They're so fancy and shiny.
Yeah, they're so shiny. Just wait till we're done and we'll be right back.
Alright, let's bust our nut.
What's the nut?
Did you?
I'm gonna wipe my forehead down.
Huey just shivered. It was that good.
Give me a sec. Alright guys, so we took a break after the camera battery died, but we got the links back in. And now, let's see. We already did camber, we checked camber. I can show you guys real quick how we measure that. And since Justin's back here, we're just going to take a look at the links. So, new trailing arms, new lateral links, adjustable lateral links. So that way we can dial in the toe. Which was cool is that right after we finished this, or right after we installed them, we checked the camber, and the camber numbers were exactly what they were before we even started. We did camber last time, but we weren't able to get the toe in correctly, so. In the rears we have at 2, and in the fronts are what? No, sorry, the rears are 2 and the fronts are 3, right? -2, -3. I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera down real quick and show you guys how the camber gauge works and how we're doing this. So the camber gauge just tells you angle, whatnot. So as you can see, however I tilt it, it measures degrees. And we stick them on the wheel. The camber gauge also has a level, so you want to make sure that's level before you take your measurement. Drop it on the wheel. And as you can see, we got 2.9. I mean, Justin was shooting for 3, but we're within 1.1, so you know, we're good. So the other side was 2.9?
Yeah.
Okay, so Yeah, we got it equal. Yeah, we get within 0.1.
Skills.
Yes. Alignment skills. So after we got the alignment done on the ground, we went ahead and put the car on these blocks. Now, for the most part, when you look at this garage floor, you think it's level, but after measuring it, we found out that the rears, where the rear tire is an inch lower than it is in the front. And then the actual plastic vinyl tiles that we have are about an eighth of an inch thick, so I was able to evenly level the garage floor, or evenly level a car on this garage floor by using 2x4s and tiles until it was close that all four corners are within an eighth of an inch. So now the car sits on these wooden blocks, and we can go ahead and set up my laser alignment stuff and accurately measure toe, front and rear using the laser level, or the laser pointer lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that set up next, and I'll explain how it works. Right, Justin?
Yeah, you do all that.
Alright, so before we start checking the toe, you gotta straighten out the steering wheel, make sure the steering wheel's straight. So, yes, it's straight, and then I bought this nifty tool on Amazon to hold the steering wheel to keep it from moving. So now we measure. Alright, we are back. Took us a couple minutes to set up what are the plumb bobs. Now the plumb bobs, you just try to get a center line on the front of the car, right? So off the grill and the bumper. We're hoping that the bumper on this car, even though it's been off and on, whatever, is straight. So we're trying to split the center of the car right down the middle. Alright, so we have a plumb bob off the back. We marked the center diff so we know exactly what's center. And then I hung the plumb bob off the sway bar. The jack stand's just there to hold the extra string so the plumb bob the tip doesn't hit the ground. And made sure it was straight. So now I have a center line between the two plumb bobs in which I'm going to line up the laser. So now I can go ahead and turn on the laser. This is what we use for alignments. It's 3 lasers which are now perfectly parallel to the car. Well, I have to set it up, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot this laser. Once I get this laser straight lined up with the 2 plumb bobs, then I know these side lasers are perfectly parallel to the wheels, in which I can use the gauge, which the laser will shoot against the gauge and tell me if the wheel is towed in or towed out. Alright, so now that we have the laser turned on, and I can measure the actual difference between the front and the rear using this gauge, I can see that the front number is higher by like 2 millimeters than the rear. So that means we have a little bit of towed out. Okay, so now we're at 60 and a half and 60 and a half.
Okay.
You are good. So while Justin's getting ready to adjust the toe, I'm just getting some readings right now to see exactly what's this side look like. And this is the side that we could not get fixed. That makes so much noise under there.
Does it?
I said stop making so much noise under there. I get this gauge on there straight. The front I have 51 and the rear I have 51. The front I have, if I get the stick gauge from not moving, the front I have 45, 46, 47, 47 and a half. So as you can see, this one was way off, and even with the stock adjustment, we really couldn't get it into spec. So that's why we got the arms just to like make it work. So right now your front is lower than your rear, so that means we're towed out by a ton, right? Front is lower than the rear,
Yeah.
so towed out a ton. So
Okay.
go ahead and for that back one, you're gonna go and make it extend it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. stop. Okay, we're lighting up 44 and 44 on that one. So this one is now good.
Good.
So now we know this wheel is perfectly zero.
Oh, so this one is your toe. So this one mainly controls toe. And the further one, when you adjust it in conjunction with this one, you can adjust camber from the bottom. So I've always wanted these. Kind of need them. And they're shiny. So makes the toe adjustments really easy. They got pillow balls everywhere, both sides and the front of the trailing arm. So super adjustable, super responsive. So we'll see how crazy it gets and show her more feelings in La Jolla.
Yeah. Alright, so now that we have the rears done, we're gonna go ahead and check the fronts. We did the fronts last time, but it was still pulling, I think because our center line wasn't good. So we're gonna go ahead and check those right now. And the adjustments of those are not as difficult, but if we have to make some adjustments, we'll show you exactly what we're doing. Now we're onto the front. Justin tightened up the rears. He marked them with a marker so that way we know if the links are gonna move or not. We can check it later. Right now you already have the nut loose on the tie rod?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There we go. That's about a half. So we run with a little bit of toe in. And the reason why is because everything is perfectly zero.
Well, it's because the drive wheels, and when you drive it, it actually pushes them out. So if you run with toe in just a little, when you drive, it makes it zero, or gets it closer to zero instead of towing out.
Exactly what I was going to say.
He wants me to talk, so I talk.
A side note though, you gotta take a look at this fit. You really get a finger in there.
I'll get to it.
And all we did is put on these stock 3.6 legacy wheels that we got for free with the next project car. It actually came with 2 sets of wheels and 2 sets of interiors, so that's why we bought it. We'll get more into that after. We'll get more into that later. But as you can see, we were running 25 mil spacers because we needed to clear these brakes. We have about, let's say, 10 mil clearance. We didn't check it. I actually had spacers on here, but from the previous wheels, we left them on just to test it once. As you can see, we don't have that much clearance, so the smallest spacer we have is a 25 mil, and look what it gives us, about a finger gap between wheel and fender.
That's my favorite.
That's your favorite? Okay,
We're done.
we're done for now. So we finally aligned the car. It was, it drove pretty well. I mean, I'm surprised how well those rear lat links and trailing arms make the car, like the rear end, very tight.
Yeah, I mean the whole car is WRX underneath, and with almost every piece upgraded, it handles better than at least my WRX ever did.
So we finished the car in about 5 weeks-ish, maybe a little bit longer because we took our time with interior, which we didn't really show because that's kind of boring. We swapped interiors. Took us a little bit to get those lat links in to get them installed. But the car was driving, and it was, pretty fun to drive.
Yeah, Huey even drove it.
Yeah,
I think.
it's a little challenging. It's not a smooth car to drive.
Let's say it. It's a man's car.
It's a man's car.
It's rowdy. No, but yeah, so it drove 3 weeks, and it had full limited interior, and obviously all the stuff we did. And then one day I get a call from Kim to meet her outside because the car stopped running in the street. So I went outside, and the motor had stopped in the middle of the street, and yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, I came over a little bit later, and we tried to crank the motor. from the crank pulley, and it would just get stuck. Either direction you would spin it. I even think that when you spun it the opposite direction, it loosened the bolt on the crank pulley.
Of course, after 3 months, haven't touched it. But I've taken more parts off it, if anything.
Yeah, so as far as shooting the videos and finishing the series, we were kind of bummed out. It's just, it's unfortunate that the car finally decided to go. How many miles were on the original engine itself?
About 170.
Yeah, so I mean, we did all the regular maintenance, but, it was due for something bad to happen, or it's just old where it needed a rebuild, and we were hoping to get by for a little bit longer, but it finally went.
So that's where it's at now.
But we want to say thanks to all the people that did come by and help us out, because it was a long, tough process. I think Nick came over to help us clean. Rodolfo came by.
Sweet pictures.
Sweet pictures.
Thanks, Andy.
And Garrett and Linda. Helped us on that one night.
Yeah.
So, thanks, guys. So what do you guys think we should do with the Fast Wagon? I mean, it's not running, but should we build it? Should we just get it running? Should we sell it? Please leave some comments below, and we'll check them out, and maybe we'll go forward with some of your guys' ideas.
Oh, so the second time I went to get the chicken, I cramped.
What?
I was like, this is not good.
Like when you leaned over?
Yeah, when I leaned, I was like...
Okay. Like you did in pain.
I did. Don't say I never sacrificed myself for this.